Okay, this next recording is going to talk a little bit about the last assignment that I have for you as individuals or groups. I'm giving you an option on this assignment, letting you decide how you want to work on this next piece. So this assignment has to do, there's a lot of benefit to this assignment. One of those is those of you that are looking into a master's degree, this is a little introduction to how the master's degree will go. I have simplified a lot of the work that's required, but I wanted you to get a little bit of experience as to how the master's degree is typically orchestrated and performed in most of your master's classes. And that is through case studies. This is not to be confused with the industry term case study. This is the academic term case study. And in the academic world of case studies, typically what that is they have found a real life scenario in the past, and so they're able to gather a lot of data, and then you're supposed to go back in time as if you're experiencing this specific scenario, and this is the data that you have in front of you, and you need to make an executive decision or recommendation because of or from the data. So in order to introduce this assignment to you, what you're seeing on the screen is this how to perform a case study reading. And there is a quiz tied to this reading. The quiz is not very difficult, but it is strongly recommended that you've gone through this PDF and reviewed basically how to do a case study. Past students have found this to be a great little assignment in preparation. It's not very long of a document, it's just 4 pages, but it will walk you through how to prepare yourself to get the most out of the case study and also perform well when you actually deliver your results from reviewing the case study. So the first part of this assignment is to go through this quick 4-page overview of just how to get prepared for a case study, and then take a quiz based on this reading. Okay, so I have that due on November 23rd, and a quiz set up tied to that same topic, also due on November 23rd. In terms of the actual case study you're performing, one of the other benefits is I'm actually giving you a case study of a company that all of you by now should be familiar with. I know in our program you have to do certifications in HubSpot, and so this case study that I'm actually giving you is actually about HubSpot. It is imperative that you read through the HubSpot case study. I have a quiz tied to it as well that you'll need to take, and that quiz will help you be prepared to get the case study done, the actual analysis. So you'll want to go through and read the HubSpot case study document. And again, if you've read through how to prepare for a case study first, that'll help you better prepare for the actual information presented in the case study. I recommend you highlight and identify key statements, key points as you read through it. That's one of the things it talks about doing, as you will need to use the data presented to you inside the case study as part of your analysis. Now, the actual assignment, HubSpot case study analysis, is due by December 5th. What I am strongly recommending you do is that you perform this case study collaboratively as your project groups. However, that's not required. I'm going to leave it up to groups to decide if they want to get together and work on this together or individually. And if you decide to do it as a group, or break into smaller groups, or whatever you decide, only one person needs to turn it in, but it must have all of the names of the members who participated on the case study, and then I will score it for all of you. But just make sure all of your names are on it if you do it as a group. So I've given you a little bit of tools. So of course the case study itself, but I've actually also prepared an Excel document with the actual data that is presented inside the case study. This just saves you a lot of time. I'm not saying all of this data is data that you will use to do analysis with, but I put it on here to make it easier for you to pull, and then you can actually edit these templates right on them. And I expect the Excel template, well, I expect an Excel analysis to be turned in with your group. So this is just making it easy for you to start with the data here on this document. Now let's actually look at the assignment and what's expected of you. Okay, so you are to read through the case study and perform an analysis of the main core problem or situation facing HubSpot. If you're not sure what the main problem that is facing HubSpot, of course it's going to be in the quiz, you ought to reach out to me on Slack or however you're going to do this, or through email, and make sure I will answer that question after the quiz. I want to give you the opportunity to see if you can uncover the main problem that happens in this case, and that's part of understanding. It's the reason I'm not giving it to you, because that's part of what you have to do in case studies, is figure out what's really going on. But it's probably important that you answer the right question when you get done. In this case study, it's pretty evident, but not entirely evident. I will give you a hint and tell you that the metrics lecture that I gave will give you some insight, probably, to some of the metrics and calculations you will want to do for this case study. That's my hint. Remember, it's asking you to investigate the past as if it were the present. So you can look at HubSpot today, and it's interesting to actually see some of the decisions they're making, but not necessarily. Don't use today's data to do your analysis. So what I want you to deliver to me is a one-page, well-formatted executive summary, including these 4 highlighted sections. You can actually possibly do 2 pages if necessary. A spreadsheet with the functions and analysis of your data, and of course the names of the individuals who participated. So these are the 4 things you're delivering. I would say it probably could be 2 pages as it fills out, but what is the core problem they're facing? Give me some bullet points, some 7 to 10 of kind of key phrases or data points that really highlight that challenge. The analysis, so just give me a summary of your analysis, put the extent of your analysis in your spreadsheet, and then I'd like you to provide recommendations. What should they do and why? Remember some of the things you've learned in your marketing, and here's a little hint. Pick a direction, own it, and be the best and win. So if you remember that, that will come into play as part of this as well. So again, it can be done as a group or it can be done individually. Typically, in your MBAs or your master's degrees, when you do this case study, your write-up can be anywhere from 3 to 5 pages of analysis. So I am just kind of simplifying it a little bit, asking you to summarize succinctly and correctly these key points of analysis in the actual case study. So going about doing this assignment, the process I would go through is first, read about how to prepare for a case study. Second, go through the actual case study, review the information, highlight key sections, uncover the problem. Then I would take the quiz based on the HubSpot case study. Then I would prepare, or I would get into my groups, and if I was going to do it as a group rather opposed to an individual, and I would discuss and collaborate what we think the key problem is. Maybe reach out to myself just to hone in on that, and then start to work in the Excel sheet. Start pulling out key parts of the document, and working through the case. And like I said, to get to an answer, you'll have to do an analysis. You'll have to do some equations. Where can you find those equations? You can Google them. You can go review my lecture. You can do some of both, and just start playing with the data to see if through the data you can uncover a solution, a recommendation. And that's really how these cases go, is that data is great, but data doesn't give us answers. Data just gives us the opportunity to uncover answers, and that's why we do a lot of these case studies, is to help instill that practice and that skill set into our business students. Marketing is very much the same way. We can get data all day long with marketing. If you watch my metrics lecture, and maybe there's a lot we can infer from it, and there's a lot of assumptions we can make, and we have to tweak back and forth to see if our assumptions are correct. And so this is another opportunity to practice that skill, hone in that skill, and give you one more shot to uncover that very needed and opportunistic skill set in the business world. If you have any questions on this, feel free to reach out and let me know. This should be a little bit of, it's a lot of fun, a little bit challenging. The answers are not always immediately evident, so it does take a little bit of calculations to deliver a strong recommendation. So good luck, and finish strong this semester, and we'll see how it goes.